Hello guys, welcome to my channel Lucid Fanfic, and if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. So be sure to stick around until the end, and let's get started. Mikumo's POV. The Yagi twins gave me one of their practice blades, and Izuku gave me a copy he made of the water-breathing techniques, also I could practice at home. I went home that day to my family and informed them that I had decided to continue with my dream to be a hero. You a hero? My father said. How can a quirkless loser like you become a hero? Yeah, we've told you time and time again to give up and choose a more realistic career, my older brother said. He was activating his quirk so his muscles were growing more pronounced. I met a friend who believes in me and is helping me to become a quirkless hero. I said with confidence. That was a mistake because immediately my dad activated his own quirk which caused him to grow 2 additional arms, and then all 4 increase in muscle mass. They both beat me and broke me. This was the final straw. That night I decided to run away and I knew the perfect place to go, the Yagi household. Time skipped to later that night around 11. I buzzed the house. It was Mr. Yagi who answered my buzz. Hello, who is it? Mr. Yagi, I was wondering if I could stay with you guys for a while. I said into the buzzer. Akatani. What, it's late here, I'll buzz you in and you can explain then, Mr. Yagi said. Then the gate opened and I walked to the house. When I got inside, Izuku was still awake reading some of the other manuscripts. When I walked in, he looked at me and had a face of worry. He immediately came to my side and helped me to the couch. Mikumo, what happened to you? He asked as his father rolled in on his temporary wheelchair. Indeed, my boy. What happened to you? Mr. Yagi asked as soon as he was situated in front of us. I recounted my tale. Those monsters, they will pay, Izuku said, showing a small amount of anger as he stood up. Son, calm down, you know that won't do any good, his father told him. Now your father sounds vaguely familiar. He is a low-class local hero. My brother is his newest sidekick, I told him. In that case, I know just what Todo, and from now on you will be staying with us. Not like we don't have a room, Mr. Yagi said. Now Izuku, take him to the hot spring that should help soothe his wounds. Right. Follow me, Mikumo, Izuku said, and he led me to an artificial hot spring they had in their house and helped me clean up and settle in the hot spring to soothe my wounds. After that, he led me to a spare room that I guess will be my new room. Time skipped to morning. In the morning, I woke up and went to breakfast where there was more people than normal. There was a couple that were older who I assumed were Izuku and Izumi's grandparents, as well as a very tired-looking man with a scruffy beard and finally a dog mouse bathing. Good morning, young Akatani. Chiyo, if you mind, could you look him over? Mr. Yagi asked. No, I don't mind. Come here, Sonny, the old lady now named Chiyo said. Let's see, oh dear, they really did a number on you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use my quirk on him, she announced. Well, let us get pictures first so we have evidence, the hobo said. Couldn't have said it better myself, Aizawa the dog mouse bear said. Thank you, Nezu, Aizawa said. After that, they took many photos of my wounds and Chiyo healed me. When she did, I realized that she must be recovery girl. Now, sweetie, you should eat to get your stamina back. As soon as she said that, I noticed just how hungry I had become. Then I dug into the meal placed before me. While I was eating, Nezu and Aizawa sent the photos to a friend of Mr. Yagi's, and he issued a warrant for the arrest of my brother and father. I think I will enjoy living with the Yagis. They already seem to treat me as family, as it were. Izuku's POV. We had an interesting weekend, to say the least. Mikumo has moved in with us as his family is going to be spending a long time behind bars for physical and verbal abuse. After he was healed up but Grandma Chiyo and he had regained his stamina, Mikumo, Izumi, and I went outside to get some early training in before the others got here. We got him a new practice blade as according to him his brother broke his other one over his knee. I told him to try running with the practice blade to get a feel for running with a blade, which left Izumi and I alone. Hey Izuku, I have been meaning to ask you something. Izumi spoke up after a few minutes of watching Mikumo run. Sure, ask away, I said, mentally keeping count of how many laps Mikumo was doing. Have you read about a moon breathing? She asked. That caught me off guard. Izumi, where did you learn that term? I asked. I had a strange dream last night, Izumi began, and I gave her a go-ahead signal. I was in a field next to an old-style tower, and in the sky was a large crescent moon. After a little bit, a man showed up with a purple kimono and a somewhat similar scar to your own. He was very calm. He said I was his reincarnation and that the place around me was my spiritual epicenter. I think he called himself Tsugikuni Michikatsu, brother of Yoriichi and the sole practitioner of moon breathing. Then he said he wishes for me to become the next master of this breathing technique. She finished explaining her dream. I told him I would ask you about it. To answer your question, yes, I have heard of the moon breathing technique and of Michikatsu, I said. We will continue this conversation after I get everyone else started on their exercises. With that, everyone else arrived, and I noticed that Katsumi seemed different somehow. Katsumi, how are you doing today? You seem a little off. I'm fine, Izuku. In fact, I feel calmer than I have been in years, Katsumi replied. Well, I think that his aggression is a side effect of nitroglycerine inside the body, I said. So maybe now that you don't have your quirk constantly producing nitroglycerine, you have mellowed out. Maybe this will help you with your breathing. You really think so, Izuku? Katsumi said excitedly. Yes, I think this will help you immensely, I said. Now let's get you and everyone minus Mikumo running to see if you have improved. All of you get to starting position, and Mikumo, come with me. Everyone should stretch while I tell Mikumo what he needs to do now. We walked off. Mikumo, from now on you will have different training from them all together. I then whispered to him his training routine, then walked back to the rest of the group by myself. Okay, everyone ready? Begin, I said. They began to run, and immediately I noticed that they all have practiced the breathing methods because they all have improved massively, with all of them ready to begin their individual training. Kirishima was now the one to tap out first, albeit a 120 laps. Next to tap out was Katsumi with a still impressive 185 laps. Then Jiru and Kaminari tied at 210 laps. Lastly was Izumi, finally tapping out at 240 laps. As they were all catching their breath, I went and grabbed their respective notes on their to-be breathing technique. Well done, everyone, I announced with a genuine smile. You all have improved tremendously. You are all ready to receive your breathing technique. Firstly, Kirishima stepped forward, I said, and he walked up to me. Although you tapped out first, you showed that you have found what best works for you. Your breathing shall be stone breathing. That sounds like it will work well with my quirk, he said kind of timidly. Kirishima, I know you think your quirk is useless, but I assure you that even without my help you could have been an excellent hero in your own right, I told him. Now next, Katsumi, despite losing your quirk and the unimaginable feeling of that shared with my sister, you have persevered and proven my suspicion that your breathing technique is flame breathing. I walked to her and handed her the notes on flame breathing. Thank you, Izuku, for believing in me, she said, hugging me. I will always believe in all of you guys, I said. Kaminari, you will learn the breathing technique that matches you named thunder breathing, and Jiru, you shall learn the offshoot of thunder breathing, sound breathing, I said, walking to them and handing them their respective notes. I swear I saw a slight blush on Jiru's face. Hey Izuku, you don't have a book for you, sister, why is that? Jiru asked, still with that cute blush. Well, I said, looking back to Izumi. For now that will be between the two of us, but you will be informed as soon as possible. I then walked and grabbed for each of them a practice blade. From now on, this will go with you everywhere, I said as I passed them out. One day these blades will be replaced with an actual sword, so best get used to the angles now. All of you should break up and go practice your various forms. There are dummies scattered around. Pick one and practice against it. Izuku, why do I have two practice blades conjoined, and what is in this bag? Jiru asked. That is a traditional weapon for sound breathing, broad blade conjoined by a chain. The man who invented sound breathing was big, but we will adjust your blades to your size, I told her. With that, they all scattered and began practicing. So, we were talking about Michikatsu and moon breathing, Izumi said. Yeah, I know the story is a bit of an unpleasant one to discuss, I began. Let's see where to begin. Well, firstly, much like you and me, Yoriichi and Michikatsu were twins born in the Sengo era. Late in life, they had both joined the Demon Slayer Corps. After a time, strong slayers began to develop what is called the Mark. It grants more power at the cost of their lifespan. Mark Slayer all began to die around the age of 25. Michikatsu was a Marked Slayer and was tempted by the Demon King Musen Kibutsuji to become a demon. That is why moon breathing isn't documented. He died as a demon, Izumi. Okay, so is it safe for me to learn it? She asked me. I think it should be, but I don't know where you would start. You might have to learn from him in your dream, I told her. Time skip 3 years, third POV. It has been 3 years. Everyone is now 15 years old, and the original class of student have all almost mastered the breathing forms. While everyone was training with a wooden practice blade, Izuku spent a large amount of time making actual Nichiren blades for everyone in this class of his. They have all taken to wearing a modified form of the school uniform, so they can wear their practice blades as well as have gotten permission to wear the real practice blades for self-defense on the condition that they be blunted. Izuku's POV. Over the years, I have begun to feel a stronger and stronger attraction to Kyoka-chan. I think I love her and she might have feelings for me as well. I always take a chance to see her, mostly helping her with her breathing technique, and she seems interested in my music skills. We've gotten to know each other very well over the past 3 years. I learned that her favorite music is rock, so I asked my parents to get me a guitar. So here we are going to a music shop at a mall in Musutafu. Inside were rows on rows of vinyl records and CDs. Along the back wall there was large amounts of guitars ranging from acoustic to electric and varying between lead and bass. Hey, welcome to Rock Out Music Shop. Can I help you in any way? A average height man with long wavy golden hair with very familiar looking eyes, his name tag said Kaitoku. Hello, my son wanted to take up guitar. He already plays violin very well. Could you help us find a guitar for him? Father asked the man for me. I sure can. Hey kid, any idea of what kind of guitar you wanted to play? Kaitoku asked me directly. I was thinking of trying an electric guitar. I replied. In that case, please follow me to the back of the store. We walked to the back wall and he asked to see my hands, which I obliged. My hands were rather large and heavily calloused. Yeah, that is to be expected of playing a violin, and these large hands, I think you would be best as a bass player. After he said that, he guided me to a specific section of the electric guitars. Now this next part is up to you. Find the one that best fits you. Your personality and style? He questioned that last part, seemingly just now noticing my old-looking attire. I looked at the bass guitars. I stayed in the 4-string bass guitars this time around. The tag said that the strings were the same notes as a violin. I searched through them. I saw some that were all the same color, and none of those felt right. I found this one that was black and had a color that resembled the flames produced by my breathing technique. This specific bass felt almost tailor-made to my hands. This one, it feels perfect for me, I said. Want to give it a try first? Kaitoku asked. I have a public amp set up over here. I followed him over to a little stage set up to one side of the store. What should I play? I asked him. Let your heart guide you. That's how some of the best songs are made, he told me. Imagine it's on bass. I was lost in the moment, letting my feelings guide my fingers and my voice. Kaitoku seemed to be enjoying it as well as my father. Sometime during my performance, Kyoka-chan seemed to come from nowhere. Wow, kid, that was amazing. Didn't expect you to be that good. This is your first time playing, right? Kaitoku asked. Playing a bass guitar? Yes. Although I have played a violin which has the same notes, this is easier, I would say. I told him. Yeah, that makes sense, was his response. Izuku, that was amazing, Kyoka said, running up and tackling me. Wait, you know my daughter? Kaitoku shouted. Yeah, he is the one who has been training me to be a hero, Kyoka said as she stood up. Also have a sound quirk as well, kid? Kaitoku asked me. Well, no, sir, I am actually quirkless. I fight using a special sword technique. It is why I have a sword with me for self-defense. I told him, slightly blushing from my place on the floor. So what have you been teaching my dear Kyoka? He asked. He has been teaching her how to use a sword, honey, an older female said, walking up behind him. She resembled Kyoka-chan quite a bit. See, this is why I wanted you to come with us to get that permit for her swords a few years ago. Anyway, Kyoka-chan, it was nothing. I am sure you would have sounded better, I said, standing up with a slight blush. No, I'm not very good at all that stuff, she said, looking away, slightly blushing herself. Nonsense, sweetie, you are a great singer, the woman I now believe to be her mother said to her. In fact, I'm willing to bet you two would sound great together. Maybe you should do a duet at the little competition next week. No. I mean, well, if you want to, Izuku-chan, Kyoka replied, looking down with a slight blush and pressing her index fingers together. I would love to if you're up for it, I replied. Come by tomorrow after school and we can begin writing a song to preform. Now, if you'll excuse me, Kaitoku, can you help me find everything else I need for this? Right? You'll need an amp, an auxiliary cable, and a case for your guitar, he said, leading the way to find and get all of the stuff we need. Time skipped to tomorrow after school. The next day, I found myself alone with Kyoka in my room writing a song. However, we have seemed to run into a slight snag. Kyoka doesn't seem to like her own music, or more bluntly, she has stage fright. Kyoka-chan, we can't write a song together for the show if you can't sing in front of me or others for that matter, I told her. I know. I know it's just only my parents have heard me sing before, and the idea of singing in front of a crowd unnerves me, she told me. What if they couldn't see who you were like any defining features? I asked her. That might work, she said, pressing her fingers together and blushing. Then follow me, I said. With that, we left my room, and I walked us to the archives and into a room I hadn't shown the others yet, waiting for a slightly later date. With that, we looked through some old masks and found an old warding mask. This should do for now, I said, then breaking off the part that would have covered the mouth and handing it to Kyoka. With that, we finally went back to my room, and Kyoka sang for me. After that, we set to work each day. We hung out in my room and wrote and got to know each other more. Gradually, she became used to singing to me and stopped using the mask, but the situation was still present, so after she left each day, I began to work on 2 masks, one for her and one for me, so it would look like a motif. The black and red one for myself, as my normal clothes are bright colors, the other for Kyoka, since she previously decided to wear an inverse color of my normal clothes. Time skipped to the next week. We got ready. We were up next and put on our respective masks. "Ready, Kyoka-chan," I said. "As I'll ever be," was her response. "Please listen to this, I feel it deserves more love. Bold is Kyoka, italics is Izuku, both is both. What am I to be? What is my calling? I gave up giving up. I'm ready to go. The future's left unseen. It all depends on me. Put it on the line to follow my dream. Yeah, tried all my life. I've tried to find something that makes me hold on and never let go. Oh, hero too. I'm a hero too. My heart is set, and I won't back down. Hero too. Strength doesn't make a hero. True heroes stand up for what they believe." She looked at me, and I could just make out the blush. So wait and see. What do they think of me? Who do they think I'll be? I could not care less. I don't want to know. I smiled into the crowd, my true smile. Am I doing right? Am I satisfied? I want to live my life like it's meant to be. Yeah, tried all my life. I've tried to find something that makes me hold on and never let go. Hero too. I'm a hero too. My heart is set, and I won't back down. Hero too. Strength doesn't make a hero. True heroes stand up for what they believe in. During this, we did a little dance around each other. So wait and see. People will judge for no reason at all. Yeah, they might try to say your dream's dumb. Don't listen. They may look down on me and count me out. I'm going my own way. They may look down on me and count me out. I'm a hero, and I've got music. Hero too. I'm a hero too. My heart is set, and I won't back down. Hero too. Strength doesn't make a hero. True heroes stand up for what they believe. Yeah, I'll be. Hero too. I'm a hero too. My heart is set, and I won't back down. Hero too. Strength doesn't make a hero. True heroes stand up for what they believe. So wait and see. I have met so many heroes in my life. Gave me the strength and courage to survive. Gave me the power to smile every day. Now it's my turn to be the one to make you smile. After all was said and done, and we took our bows and our masks off, we were both happy, and one thing led to another, and we kissed right there on stage. It was a long kiss, and it felt amazing, like the feel of a setting sun over a symphony of natural music. Although we could barely hear it, the crowd that defiantly increased as we sang was cheering up a storm, even more so as we kissed. Finally, we parted. So I guess it is time we make it official then. Will you, Jiro Kyoka, be my girlfriend? I asked her. Yes, I will, Yagi Izuku, she said, leaning in for another kiss, which I happily obliged. Guys, that was amazing, my sister said, running in and hugging the both of us. So it's official now. You knew? Kyoka asked her. Everyone knew, sweetie. Mika, Kyoka's mother said. That was an amazing performance, you two. I just know you two will make a great couple, Kaitoku said, giving me a thumbs up. But just so you know, if you ever hurt her, I will break you, he said. Dad, you couldn't even touch him, be honest with yourself, Kyoka said, stabbing one of her jacket to his eye. Flashback 3 years ago. The sleepover, Izuku's POV. After my parents went to sleep, I got everyone and told them we are going to have a meeting. So what is it we need to meet about? Katsuki asked. The truth about what I intend to teach you and its true purpose. I told him. As I did, I pulled out an old book. This estate and everything on it was originally used by an underground organization. That sole purpose was to eradicate beings that eat humans. The organization's name was the Demon Slayer Corporation. The Demon Slayer Corp was founded at some point during the Heian period shortly after the first demon was born and became the Demon King. Around 500 years after its founding, a Hashioa joined the ranks of the Demon Slayers and created the foundations for the breathing techniques leading to the golden age of the Corp known and documented as the Sengo era, which lines up to around the Edo period in our normal history. Wait, you seem to speak of this as if it is fact. Kirishima asked me. Well, if they aren't around anymore, does that mean that the demons were eradicated? Mikumo asked. Well, it is true, Kirishima. As for your question, Mikumo, the Demon Slayer are not around anymore because they thought that they did indeed win. I said calmly, which caused them to relax a bit. The final battle against the Demon King happened well after the Sengo era in the Taisho period, and not much is known other than he was ultimately slayed by the Ronin Demon Slayer Kamado Tanjiro. Using the very same breathing form I use today, it was claimed he died in the battle, though his body was never found. And your point is? Jiru asked. A demon is born when blood of the Demon King is shared or injected in some way into a human's body. I said, and since his body was never found, I suspect that in the battle with the Demon King Muzan Kibutsuji, the king left every ounce of his vital fluid to Tanjiro, turning him into the next Demon King. One who kept his operations in our country relatively underground. And you suspect this because? Kaminari asked. Have you all heard of the disappearances that happen every day, or events of horrible massacres that occasionally pop up on the news? I asked them. They all nodded. These events all share large amounts of traits resembling demon attacks described in the archives. So I ask you all to keep this in mind. I will train you regardless, but I ask that you all be prepared to become new demon slayers in the future. Do you all think you can do that? I'm with you, brother, Izumi said. I promise to do my part so long as I will be protecting people, Mikumo said. Yeah, this sounds so manly, Kirishima said in excitement. Just be sure to train us well, Aizu, Katsuki said. Yeah, I'll do my best as well, Zuzu, Katsumi said. I'll do my best to be the hero everyone needs, Jiru said finally. Back to the present Aba Manami POV. I wasn't born normal. I know that that's rich coming from someone who lives in a society where the norm involves supernatural abilities, but I'm still abnormal. See, I was born with a quirk, that's true. My quirk is called love. I can boost the power of the person I love by telling them out loud how much I love them. The intensity of my love affects how much I boost them. Beyond my quirk, I was born extremely flexible, and an odd mutation in my normal genes affects my muscle. My muscle fibers are around 8 times denser than the average person. 3 years ago, I initially felt feelings for my classmate Izuku Yagi. I confessed a week or so after school started, but it was unrequited. Then over the course of the year, I saw him training his friends and sister in something, and Mikumo began to catch my eye, maybe because he has changed his style and were his eyes different. Gradually, Izuku's group began to form. They were always easy to spot, as his group all wore similar uniforms to his own, and eventually all had their own practice blade, each as unique as the training they do during breaks. Jiru had a wooden practice blades that were tethered to each other by a wooden chain. They were very unique. All the others had a standard-looking katana apart from Kirishima, who had a wooden axe and flail attached by a long chain. Today was the day I was going to confess to Mikumo-san. It was recess. I walked over to the group before they started their practice and straight to Mikumo. Hey Mikumo-san, I need to tell you something. I told him. I had grown a little taller, so now I was just under his height now. What is it, Aba-chan? He asked me. Well, I wanted to tell you that ever since our first year, I have had a crush on you. I told him. Is that so? He said. You don't even really know me, and I don't really know you, so I'm sorry, but at this time I can't really reciprocate your affection. Oh, well then how about I join your guys group? I said. What do you even do anyway? He looked over to Yagi, and he nodded. If you want to know that, come by Yagi's household after school. He told me and handed me a sheet of paper with an address on it. School had wrapped up after that with very little excitement, and I walked to the address on the sheet. When I got there, I was met with an old-style wall that smelled of wisteria. I walked to a gate and rung an intercom. Hi, this is Aba Manami. I was told to come over to learn about what you guys do. I spoke into the intercom, the gate swung open, and I walked onto a route that was bordered on either side by wisteria bushes. Following the path, I came to an old-style manor house. Out front, they were all there: Jiru, Izumi, Izuku, Mikumo, Kirishima, Kaminari, and someone I didn't recognize. The new person had long, somewhat spiky blonde hair with red tips here and there. I think I heard one of them say her name was Kitsumi. You want to join, then you'll need to know that the leader here is Izuzu, the girl, Katsumi said. Katsumi, Izuku scolded slightly. I have been training them to better utilize their quirk, and in the case of Mikumo, Izumi, and Katsumi, how to be a hero without a quirk. However, we also serve a different purpose. We are the new Demon Slayer Corporation. He stated bluntly. Demons, you have to be kidding, I said, giving off a slight laugh. Have you ever noticed the random massacres on the news or the missing people reports? Those are signs of demons, Jiru said. Really? How do you know that? I asked. The archives, Izuku answered. Now if you want to join, you need to know that you might have to fight and kill demons. But don't worry, you will be trained to in a special breathing technique suited to your body and yourself. And that will help me to understand you better. I asked Mikumo. Well, that and becoming a hero alongside us, Mikumo said. Then I'll do it. I said. Wonderful. Katsumi, take her baseline stats before total concentration. I'll lead the others in practice, Izuku said, smiling a smile that shined like the sun itself. Yeah, sure, Izuku. You follow me, she said, and we went and she grabbed a machine. So what you are going to do is run around the manor house until you drop. This machine will count it, and that will be your baseline. She explained to me. Okay, when should I start? I asked. She just nodded her head, which I took as a go, and began to run around the manor. She stood by the machine and just watched the number rise. 3 hours later, I finally stopped, and I heard Katsumi talking with Izuku. She tied with my last baseline test when I was using basic total concentration. She said, You're right, 185 laps. That is impressive. She seems to have a unique muscle composition that is 8 times denser than a normal human's, which means that her muscles function at basically 8 times the efficiency of a normal human's. Like, she already has total concentration, yet she doesn't. He explained to her. God, it is so creepy when you use that ability of yours, Katsumi said, sweat dropping. What ability did he use? I thought he was quirkless. I asked. Oh, he is quirkless, but he has what he says is called the see-through world. According to him, anyone can learn it, but only his sister has gotten a glimpse at what it is like. He has had it since birth, as well as what he calls selfless state, though he tries to turn that off unless he is fighting seriously. She explained to me. Anyway, I think I read something about someone who had a similar muscle composition to you. Izuku chimed in, pulling out a book from his cloths. Ah yes, the love Hashia of old had this odd mutation, and according to this you should also be very flexible, are you? He asked me. Yeah, how did you know? I asked. I guess. Now the best breathing for you to learn is love breathing, he said, passing me a different book he had set on the ground. Katsumi, since love breathing is derived from flame breathing, you should be the one to help her if she needs it. Sure thing, Zuzu, Katsumi said. Abandoned warehouse, 12 a.m. A warehouse on the edge of Hosu City. We see 4 individuals discussing their plans for the future. Shigaraki Tomura POV. Master, I know we are planning to kill All Might, I said. But how do we plan to kill him? Tomura, I am sure that Dr. Kyudai has told you of his experiments of implanting multiple quirks into a body. Master spoke calmly. From his chair. Yes, though Kurogiri is the most successful test he has had thus far. I said. Indeed he is. The most I can seem to do is add an additional 2 quirks before the body either rejects it or it begins to deteriorate. Dr. Kyudai said, turning away from running diagnostics on Kurogiri. Of course, we have also found better results with me giving the quirk directly, but they can still reject the quirk. Master said. So we need to figure out what makes Kurogiri different, I said. The only difference between him and all the other test subjects is he was originally a Hero Corps student. Dr. Kyudai said. Is that really the only difference you found? A chilly voice called out. Then the lights began to go out one by one till only the one above us remained. Master stood up. You have exactly 1 minute to explain who you are and how you found us, he said with a famed tone, though I noticed a slight shaking of his hands. Now, no need to excite yourself too much, all for one. The same voice said. In fact, I do believe we have met before, though pardon me if I am wrong, that happens when you get old, he continued, now walking out into the light. I don't know what it was, but it felt like every fiber of my being was telling me to run from this man. Who are you? I belted out. Who I am is unimportant, he said, looking at me with those piercing red eyes. What is important is what I can do for all of you. And what exactly can you do for us? Master asked. Oh, several things, he replied with an unnerving chuckle. For one, I could make you all unbelievably more powerful, Second, I could put you out of what has to be intense pain all for one. But as for what I plan Toto for you today, I intend to help you with this little project of yours. And what exactly are you credentials for doing that? Kyudai asked him. Let's just say my blood has some unique properties when added to another being's, he said, chuckling. I will give you a portion of my blood for you to use in your experiments alone. Believe me, I'll know if it is used for anything else, and in return you will do something for me sometime in the future. Is it a deal? We don't make deals with people we don't have the name of. I spat back at him. That was a big mistake. He rushed at me and grabbed me by the throat, lifting me into the air. I swore I felt his nails grow sharp. I suggest you learn to hold your tongue, boy. The adults were talking, and if this deal goes through, trust me, you'll be seeing more of me. Now then, Kyudai. All for one your decision? Fine, we accept. Just put Tamura down, Master said after he finished. That's what I like to hear, he said, chuckling as he retracted his nails and set me down. Now then, Kurogiri, bring them out. What makes you think you can control my servant? I spat at him after a coughing fit. Simple, he was meant to be my servant first. He spat back with venom. Be glad I have allowed you lot to use him and keep him. As he finished talking, Kurogiri caused an odd door to appear. It was like an old-style sliding door. The weird thing was it was just there. Then the door opened and out walked several people carrying cooler boxes. Kyudai opened one, and inside each one was at least 50 blood bags. That should last you a while, he said, walking to the door. Will we ever see you again? Master asked him as the man stepped through the door. Most assuredly, the man said, laughing as the door closed and ceased to be. As soon as he left, all the light came back on. Master, he said, you and him have met before. Do you remember him at all? I asked him. Yes, I vaguely remember him. We had met once before in the Dawn of Quirks, he said. He hasn't aged a day, and it has nearly been 400 years. To this day, I still don't know his name, only rumors of what a man matching his description can do. Well, at least for now, he is on our side, Kyudai said. Yeah, and we can hopefully get some better results for your experiments, I replied. Indeed, only time will tell how far these experiments will be able to go now, Master said. Izuku's POV. 3 years later, the night before the exam. We decided that we would all do a sleepover for the night before the UA entrance exam. Some important news: everyone now knows me and Kyoko are a thing, not like we intended it to be a secret. But Mikumo and Aba seem to have started seeing each other, though Mikumo refuses to admit it. Over the 3 years, we have even started a bit more of a band. My sister is on keyboard, Katsumi is on the drums, and Mikumo rocks it on the second guitar. So I am sure all of you are excited. After all, tomorrow we take the first of many steps to becoming the heroes we all want to be. However, all of you need to remember that this is not the only way we can be heroes, and if any of you should fail, you will not be kicked out of the Demon Slayer Corporation. I said to everyone. Personally, I believe that every single one of you can pass this exam. You say that as if you're not taking the exam? Kirishima asked. That's because technically he doesn't need to, Izumi told him. What does she mean by that? Kaminari asked. Well, despite trying to deny the recommendation, our uncle did give me one since he really wants to see me in his class. I replied. And your uncle is? Abo asked. Shota Aizawa, aka the Underground Erasure Head, and assuming we all impress him, our homeroom teacher. Izumi answered for me. And since he wants to see what I can do, so I suggested having me take the practical exam at least. I told everyone. Okay, but I thought he never gave his recommendation. Mikumo asked. He likes to baby Izuku. Either that or likes the fact that Izuku is always so calm and mellow, Izumi answered. Anyway, we should all get to sleep. The practical for UA is undoubtedly going to require us to be absolutely alert, I said, and with that we all went to sleep. Time skipped to tomorrow UA gate. Okay, well, they probably have us seated next to each other in the announcement hall. We most likely will be placed into different exam sites, I told everyone, and we went into the building and sat down in the announcement hall. Hello, little listeners. Can I get a yeah? Present MIC said, coming out onto the stage. Silence. Well, then I'll just explain what you'll be doing today. Today's exam is quite simple. You all will be divided up into one of 7 training grounds. In those training grounds, you will be conducting 10 minutes mock battles against foe villains. 3 varieties are stationed at each ground. First, the 1-pointer signified by the 1 on its body, the 2-pointer and 3-pointer all are labeled by their numbers on the body. May I ask a question? A blue-haired boy stood up and asked. Okay. Present MIC replied. In the printout that UA provided, it states that there are 4 robots. If this is a misprint, then UA, the most prominent school in Japan, should be ashamed. The blue-headed boy proclaimed, just cutting off Present MIC. And you 7, why are you dressed like you are going to a war reenactment? You should be in your school uniforms. If you are not going to take this seriously, then you 7 should just leave. It was then that I stood up. I noticed his eyes bug out a bit at seeing my wooden practice blade and miniature practice blade, but I cut him off before he could speak up about it. For your information, we are all dressed this way because these are our school uniforms, same reason as to why all of us have blades with us. And as for your first question directed to Present MIC earlier, the printout you pulled out should have told you this, but the last faux villain is worth 0 points, indicating that it is likely intended to be an obstacle, which I am sure Present MIC was about to say before he was interrupted by you. I said in my calming voice, which calmed everyone down. Seems people were nervous when I stood up. Right, you are, little listener. Present MIC said from the stage. You're one of Yagi's kids, right? Yes, now can we get a move on and tell Aizawa I am in testing site A? I told him. Then I sat back down and waited through what little was left of Present Mike's presentation. From there, we were all split up between the 7 different exam areas. Kaminari POV, Exam Area G. I was nervous. See, every one of my friends has been able to do their breathing style, but me not a single form. I can't use any of them, and on top of that, my quirk has a pretty bad limit. See, my quirk is electrification. I can generate an electric field around my body that I can discharge and use to defeat villains. Pretty cool, right? Well, you would be wrong. See, it has 2 major downsides. The first, I can only discharge the shock indiscriminately unless I'm touching the opponent, and Izuku has been trying to help, but none of his efforts have really helped. The second downside is, well, if I go over a certain wattage of electricity, my brain kind of gets fried till I can recharge the energy I lost. I think I can do pretty well in this exam with just my quirk, but I feel like I might let Izuku and the others down if I don't use my breathing technique at any point during the exam. Hello, little listeners. Present MIC shouted from the roof of the observation tower. I saw the gate lower, and my gut just told me to go for it, which I did and ran through the gate. What are you all waiting for? Those 8 have the right idea, go. I was running down what was basically the main street through a large city. There were faux villains everywhere. As I was running, I pressed my hands against each one, delivering large shock to each one. There goes a 1-pointer. There a 3-pointer, and that how it went, taking down many faux villains. Then I got to an extremely crowded area with an insane amount of villains, no doubt intended for a group of us to work together, but what I did was lure as many of them to me as possible. Special move. Indiscriminate shock. 1.3 million volts. I called out, unleashing my super move to clear as many of them as possible. The observation tower, third POV. Well, that kid just used his trump card according to his file, but he did earn a lot of points, Vlad King said next to Nezu. Indeed he did, or wasn't he one of the kids who was trained by Yagi's boy? Nezu commented. Yeah, and don't take your eyes off of him. He defiantly still has something up his sleeve if he was trained by Izuku. Back to Kaminari. More faux villains surrounded him and were right about to pounce, when suddenly he crouched down into a very low stance and placed a hand on his blade's hilt. Total concentration, thunder breathing. First form. Thunderclap and flash eightfold, he said, and in a nearly imperceptible movement, he dashed forward, slicing off the faux villain's head, and dashed again and again, slicing off the heads of 8 villains and returning to his starting position insanely fast, returning the blade to its sheath. See, I told you he would have something up his sleeve, being taught by Izuku, Aizawa told everyone. Kirishima POV, Exam Area F. I was well prepared for this through all of the training I had undergone with Izuku and our friends to use my breathing style and use my quirk for defensive purposes. I stood in front of everyone and waited for the gate to open. When it did, I rushed in. What are you all waiting for? Those 8 have the right idea, go go. Present MIC said behind me. I ran, pulling out my axe and flail, getting them ready. Then I saw them, the first of the faux villains. I took a deep breath in. Total concentration, stone breathing. Second form. Upper smash. I called out, throwing out my axe and flail, smashing down on the chain to force the flail to smash my target, destroying it. I pulled back on the chain and realized I had been surrounded, stone breathing. Fourth form. Volcanic rock, rapid conquest. I said, spinning the chain and launching out the flail and axe to my enemies, destroying even more the faux villains. Observation Tower 3rd POV. That kid in Area F is quite literally tearing through the faux villains, Midnight said. That is one of Izuku's kids, and according to his file he hasn't used his quirk yet. Power Loader commented looking up from the file. How has a quirkless kid trained so many of these kids to fight so well? Vlad King commented. Don't disrespect my niece and nephews. Aizawa bit back at Vlad. I thought you only had one nephew. Midnight commented. The Yagis adopted the son of the disgraced hero about 6 years back, the local four-armed one. I think he was Fourth Kind's younger brother, Nezu told her. Oh yeah, isn't he also in the roster this year? She asked. Yes, he is, though you probably wouldn't recognize him, Aizawa replied. Mikumo POV, Area E. I was waiting by the gate for it to open. We were all separated into the 7 areas apart from Izuku and Jiru. They ended up in the same area. I am confident in my abilities, so I am the calmest person there. There's only one form I am not perfect with yet. Hello, little listeners. Present MIC shouted from the top of the observation tower. The gate began to lower and I rushed in as fast as possible. What are you waiting for? Those 8 have the right idea. Go. Go. I saw robots everywhere and began my assault. Total concentration. Water-breathing third form. Flowing dance, I said calmly. I swung and bent my blade in a winding motion and danced in a flowing pattern, slicing every faux villain in my path to bits. Observation tower. 3rd POV. That kid took so many of the villains down with a single attack, and such a precise one as well. Present MIC pointed out to everyone. Who says he is quirkless? How did he do that? Vlad King asked. He is one of Izuku, specifically this kid is one of his best students, Aizawa explained. And watch it, Vlad, that is your second warning. Back to Mikumo, his POV. Water-breathing first form, water surface slash. I called slicing through another villain. That should make around 68 points, more than enough to pass. But let's go to impress, although as I saw even more villains. 7th form. Drop ripple thrust. I said, piercing a 3-pointer's head. I looked around and found myself surrounded. 4th form. Striking tide, I called, releasing multiple slashes, twisting my body and blade, delivering many attack, taking them all down. That should do it. Let's go help the others, I said. Aba POV, Area D. I'm doing this to be closer to Mikumo-san. The sword Izuku made me is apparently a less intricate version of the sword used by the Love Hashiei of old. It is whip-like yet fits into a standard katana sheath. Izuku says if we all pass the entrance he will take requests for personalized swords, which I am looking forward to. Oh, the gate is lowering. Let's do this. What are you waiting for? Those 8 have the right idea. Go. Go. Present MIC said behind me. I was busy looking for the villains. Aha, there's some. Total concentration. Love-breathing first form. Shivers of first love. I shouted out, dashing to them and launching my sword forward in a series of extended whip slashes, obliterating several of the robots. I kept running and attacking any robots I found, destroying them easily. Observation tower 3rd POV. How is her sword doing that? Nezu asked, looking on at Aba's assault. It's not her quirk. Her quirk only benefits the person she loves, not herself, Vlad commented. Izuku made it for her, Aizawa said calmly. Izuku made that, Power Loader said, intrigued. Back to Aba POV. I saw a large amount of robots and called out love-breathing second form. Love pangs, unleashing many powerful whip slashes that destroyed the robots as I rushed through them. That should do it. If I know Mikumo-san, he got to a certain score and went to assist others, so let's do the same, I said, smiling and walking off. Katsumi POV, Area C. I ended up in the same area as my twin brother. He was clearly upset to see me even trying to be a hero still. Katsumi, it's unsafe for someone of your condition to be taking this test or to even be trying to be a hero. He yelled at me with a few explosions for effect. Brother, you were never against it when it was just Izuku and Mikumo who wanted to be quirkless heroes. I called back. I have been quite literally been training for this since the incident. Hell, the incident with my quirk even helped somewhat. What does that mean? He yelled at me as I saw the gate lower and ran through. Can't right now. We'll explain after we are done here today. See you, brother, I called back to him. What are you waiting for? Those 8 have the right idea. Go. Go. Present MIC shouted behind me. There they are. The faux villains. I thought, time to do this. Total concentration. Flame-breathing first form. Unknowing fire. I called out, charging towards my main target at insane speed, slicing its head off in an instant. Second form, Rising Scorching Sun. I called as another villain came after me and releasing a sword slash upwards, destroying the attacking robot. Observation Tower. Third POV. That's the most powerful participant yet. Vlad King said. What's her quirk? She is quirkless currently. Formerly she had the same quirk as her twin explosion. Nezu read from her file. She lost her quirk? That's not possible. Vlad responded. Vlad, you would know how it's possible if you actually read the briefing yesterday. Aizawa chimed in. What's that supposed to mean? I was out on patrol. Vlad yelled back. You were out on a press tour, don't lie, I saw it on the news, we all did. Aizawa yelled and activated his quirk. Enough, you two. Nezu spoke up and they sat down. Vlad to explain. When they were 12, Izumi and Kitsumi lost their quirk to All for One shortly before a fight began between him and All Might. He explained. Back to Kitsumi POV. More robots coming at me, a whole horde. Let's do this. Fifth form, Flame Tiger. I charged forward in a blinding spectacle of slashes, destroying the entire horde. Izumi POV. Area B. So just wanted to say, for now all Izumi can do is the first 6 forms, since those are the only ones that don't require a blood demon art to do. Since I began to train with this breathing technique, I began to feel something deep inside. It felt like my quirk, almost. I even developed something similar to Izuku's birthmark, making us suspect something. He said he'll look into it, but said I shouldn't worry, it isn't the same thing as what he thinks. I wasn't too nervous despite not having fully mastered that special power. I can only keep it up for a brief amount of time. I was waiting by the gate for it to open, and to my dismay someone came by that I wasn't expecting. Yagi, what are you doing here? You know they'll never let you in, right? Shindoyo said behind me. Leave me alone, yo, it doesn't matter what you think, there is no rules against it. I told him off. Besides, my brother taught me and my friends very well. Then the gate began to open and I rushed in. What are you waiting for? Those 8 have the right idea. Go. Go. Present MIC said behind me. I saw before me several of the faux villains described to us earlier. Let's do this. Total concentration. Moon breathing second form. Pearl flower moon gazing. I shouted, releasing several wide slashes like a crescent moon, destroying many of them easily. I saw someone who I barely recognized. It was the daughter of one of Dad's friend, Melissa Shield. She had been training with our dad, though I wasn't sure why and where did that lighting come from. Could have sworn she was quirkless. Maybe he gave her his quirk. Then I continued on destroying more robots as fast as I could. Observation Tower third POV. Your niece is quite strong despite losing her quirk, Nezu commented. Yeah. Izuku had to help her a lot. She is, I think, the second strongest amongst his group, him being the strongest, Aizawa replied. Can't wait to see what you're talking about, Nezu replied. Me either, he wouldn't let me see his hard work. He only showed me the others practicing, Aizawa told him. Interesting, was all Nezu said about it. Melissa POV, Area B. Uncle Might decided to train me after his first choice. Izuku decided to stick with his own path. Noble choice, sounds like him. Anyway, we trained for 3 years, and I am able to barely unleash about 15% of one for all before serious injury occurs. Would be more if Dad wasn't so paranoid about it. It took me only 3 attempts to realize that I should spread it to my whole body, not just one body part at a time. Hey, is that Izumi? I should say hi. What is that kid doing? Is he making fun of her? Oh, the gate is now just to wait. And did she just run in? What are you waiting for? Those 8 have the right idea. Go. Go. Present MIC said. What? And just like that, I was running in after her. I saw her draw her sword and attack some of the robots. I decided to do so for some as well. 1 for all. Full coverage. 15% smash. I said, punching a robot, crumpling it easily. After that, we ended up getting separated, and I went on to destroy many more of the robots, gathering up what I could estimate to be around 76 points, I think. Not much happened after that till I heard a lot of screams and a loud shattering sound like glass being shattered in mass. Then the ground shook and I looked up and saw a giant robot and realized it was the 0-pointer. Kyoka POV, Area A. This is it, time to finally follow the other part of my dream, being a hero to save and protect others. Thanks to Izuku, I know I don't have to give up on music. Sure, I still have a bit of stage fright, but I don't need my mask anymore. The only reason I still wear it is it has kind of become our thing. We all wear masks. Me and Izuku still wear our fox-based masks. Izumi and Katsumi wear cat-themed masks, and Mikumo wears a water dragon mask. Izuku and Jiru's masks. Izumi's mask. Katsumi's mask. Mikumo's mask. Izuku told me that for the form of breathing I need these little bombs. Also said they were a pain to recreate. They are about an inch in diameter. No fuse. They detonate with friction. In fact, that was required. The explosion creates a unique reverb where the blades took a long time for me to be able to handle these things. You're going to do great. Sweetie, just trust your instincts and your technique, Izuku said next to me. Thanks for that. It really helps. I was pretty nervous, I replied. The gate began to open and I saw out of the corner. Izuku nod. Together we rushed in. What are you waiting for? Those 8 have the right idea. Go. Present, MIC said as we rushed in. The others must have had the same idea. I saw several of the robots up ahead. Izuku split off almost immediately, not that I can keep up with him going all out anyway. Let's do this, I said. Total concentration, sound breathing. First form. Roy called out and unleashed a number of bombs ahead of me. Pulling my swords out, I launched the further they slid on the bots and they exploded. Second form. Eruptive gash. I released 2 horizontal slashes, crossing my arms and going back the other way for another 2 slashes, all this while releasing numerous bombs. It went on like this for a while. I racked up many points. Observation tower, third POV. Oh, is that the girl he is with? Midnight said. Way to go, Izuku. What is she throwing? I've never seen a bomb so small. Power Loader commented. Izuku made them, Aizawa said. He has made everything you have seen them use. Those swords, he even claims they have special properties. You mean apart from the whip-like structure of Miss Aba's sword? Nezu asked. Yeah, and he has a special practice doll, says it's antique, looks like it's made of porcelain. Had Izumi demonstrate her technique on it for me. Aizawa replied. Correct me if I am wrong, but Izuku seems to have a wooden practice blade as well as a metal one. Vlad King said. Hey guys, are you seeing this? MIC interjected. What is that? He was pointing to the screen where we see a blur go by. Power Loader, can you slow down the footage, please? Nezu asked. Yeah, it might take me a bit to isolate this footage and slow it down, maybe till we go in to review the footage further, Power Loader replied. Okay, get to work on it. We need to know what that was, Nezu said. Now everyone back to the screen of Miss Jiru. Kyoka POV. I think I have gathered enough points to impress, to say the least now. Then let's go help some others. Boom. What was that? I shouted and looked around frantically and saw a giant hand emerge from behind a building. It began to crush the building slightly like it was freeing itself. Rubble began to fall from the building, threatening to crush some examinees. Fifth form, string performance. I shouted, jumping into the air and throwing bombs to destroying as much rubble as possible. I got caught under some fresh rubble and pinned to the ground. Kaminari POV, Area G. I was racking up points after a small amount of time. I came out of my dumb state and noticed I was surrounded by destroyed robots. If I don't get moving, I won't have enough points to pass the exam. I shouted out and ran off to find more robots to destroy. Boom! What was that? I looked all over and heard a rumbling as I saw an absolutely massive robot appear from behind some buildings. I saw smaller robots running in the same direction as the crowd away from the behemoth, and I panicked, discharging a large amount of electricity, frying me again. The robots around me were destroyed. Thunder breathing first form. Thunderclap and flash sixfold. I called out in my altered state and rushed at the massive robot. As I rushed at the robot, I hopped and rushed from building wall to wall till I was directly under its head, and I sliced right through the head. Kirishima POV, Area F. I successfully got enough points to pass and went to help other students that were having trouble. It went well. I used my chain to incapacitate a robot for an examinee or two to destroy. Then I heard a massive boom. I saw a large amount of examinees running away from something coming from a dust cloud. It was destroying the buildings around, causing rubble to rain down. I used my weapons and total concentration breathing to destroy the rubble as it fell, allowing the examinees to get away. Then suddenly there was a tread in my face. I barely had time to activate my quirk. Full body hardening. Every part of my body hardened to a relatively standard level for me nowadays, and the tread broke on impact with me. Let's dismantle you from the inside. I used my quirk to carve a channel through the robot, climbing up and out into the very core of the robot. Rapid mountain punches. In a few seconds, I had completely severed the core computer from the rest of the robot and punched my way out of the robot's chest, jumping and rolling as I made it back to the road. Mikumo POV, Area E. I successfully helped out many examinees from those who got injured. I patched them up as best I could. To those who got themselves pinned by a robot or two, which I promptly dispatched. I was doing just that till I heard several screams followed by a boom. I ran back to the main road and saw a large amount of examinees running for the exit and trampling over any examinee unfortunate enough to have been injured and stranded on the ground. "You idiots!" I yelled out, getting their attention. "All of you, look at yourselves running in a blind panic, trampling over each other. As far as I am concerned, none of you are worthy of being a hero if you are only willing to save yourself." Then I ran and rushed as fast as I could towards the massive robot. Total concentration water breathing 10th form. Constant flux. As I rushed towards the behemoth, I preformed this ultimate move, a single attack that I used to obliterate any remaining robots on this road and any falling rubble. With each rotation of the attack, it grew in power, and with a large run up a building, I leaped and slashed right into the robot, slicing it in half. ABA POV, Area D. I was helping students out of tight pinches, using my special whip-like blade to destroy or incapacitate the robots for other examinees to destroy. Things were going so well until... boom. That must be the zero-pointer Izuku mentioned. Let's just rescue anyone caught in its path of destruction. I ran around and pulled people out of the way of rubble, sometimes just destroying the rubble so it avoids them, and when the path was clear, "All right, big boy, just you and me," I called out. Love breathing 3rd form. Cat love shower. I leaped forward and unleashed numerous edged attacks in quick succession. One hit its left shoulder, cleaving it off, another hit its right shoulder and slashed all the way down to its hip joint, not quite cutting clean through. Finally, a slash whipped around and slashed through its neck, effectively disabling it. Katsumi POV, Area C. I defiantly passed this exam. It was easier than I thought it would be. I lost count of how many robots I have destroyed at this point, and unfortunately my brother has somehow found me. Katsumi, explain what you were going on about back at the gate. My oath of a brother shouted at me. As near as Izuku could figure, our quirk generates a substance similar to nitroglycerin, right? I asked him calmly. "Yeah, what does that have to do with it?" He asked calmly while blowing up a 3-pointer. "Studies show that nitroglycerin in the bloodstream can lead to an angrier temperament," I explained, "which also lead to me and you having an issue with the breathing technique. Since with anger, your body automatically takes shallower and quicker breaths. So you're saying I can't do this stupid technique of Izuku's because of my quirk?" he asked me. In the simplest of terms. I counted. He nodded. Yes. Boom. We both looked in the same direction as the noise and saw a massive dust cloud. "Brother, do me a favor and get everyone out of the way while I handle the 0-pointer," I said, and rushed off at blinding speeds to the wreckage. I ran till I saw the robot up close for the first time. Wasn't expecting I'd have to use this. Flame breathing 6th form. Flame that pierces the sky. I ran forward till I was close to the robot and bent down, jumping up and turning my sword upward. My sword pierced the stomach of the robot and continued upward, eventually slicing through the robot's head, disabling it. Izumi POV, Area B. I had enough points to pass, I'm sure of it, so I turned to helping everyone out. I ran from injured student to injured student, gently picking them up and carrying them to recovery girl site for those who got injured. I was carrying Shindo over, who had rendered himself immobile from his own quirk just as I placed him in the cart. Boom. I looked behind me to see a massive robot. Must be the 0-pointer, I thought to myself. Then I saw the buildings being destroyed and rubble threatening to land on people. I rushed forward and started to pull or push as many people out of the way of the rubble as I could. Then the 0-pointer swiped and the top 3 floors of the building were going to fall on everyone. Moon breathing 6th form. Perpetual night. Lonely moon incessant. I released several curved slashes several meters above me, turning all of the rubble into dust. I looked over just in time to see Melissa run by and leap into the air. She cocked her arm back and destroyed the head of the 0-pointer in a single punch. Izuku POV, Area A. I was waiting for the gate to open. Everyone around me was nervous, but the only one that I could actually help was Kyoka. She wasn't insanely nervous, but I could tell something was bothering her. Maybe she just isn't confident in her skills yet. "You're going to do great, sweetie," Just trust your instincts and your technique, I told her calmly, giving her my genuine smile. Thanks for that. It really helps. I was pretty nervous, she said. The gate opened and we both rushed in. What are you all waiting for? Those 8 have the right idea. Go. Go. Present MIC announced behind me and Kyoka. Shortly after we crossed the gate, I split off from Kyoka, heading to the further back streets to take on robots there. Observation Tower. Present MIC POV. Everyone else was currently talking about all of the other students debating their points, and so on. I decided to stay quiet and just watch the exam and observe the students. I know a surprise coming from me, the loudest hero. I looked to a screen and saw something very fast zip past the camera, and the robots that were in the shot were obliterated. Hey guys, you seeing this? I said, pointing to the screen, rewinding it a bit, showing them. I looked over as Nezu was asking Power Loader to enhance and slow down the feed on that camera. Now that is settled, everyone back to Miss Giroux and the others, please, he said. I took it upon myself to write down every time I saw the blur of movement followed by the destruction of robots again. Back to Izuku POV. I was on a back road with nothing else on it beside me and a lot of robots. Time to show off, I suppose, I said calmly and drew my wooden practice blade. Total concentration, sun breathing, first form, Inbu. Populace, I called out, calmly rushing forward at impossible speeds and slashed vertically to each and every robot on the street, destroying their ability to operate. I ran around at blistering speeds to all of the far-off roads and streets to defeat the villains that none of the others would reach, each time destroying and obliterating the robots faster than they could react. It was going great, though my wooden practice blade was certainly looking worse for wear then. Boom. That must have been the 0-pointer, I said. It's heading towards the entrance of the exam, must be close to concluding. I sped off to the main road, and what I saw disgusted me. These hero prospects were running and trampling over anyone who had fallen from their panic, and then I saw Kyoka. She was using her technique's 5th form to destroy rubble, threatening to crush some of the hurt examinees. Unfortunately, she got caught in a second drop of rubble and was pinned by it. That got me slightly irritated. I tossed aside my wooden practice blade and drew out my metal one. Fine then, time to really show off, I said under my breath and rushed forward. Observation Tower, 3rd POV. They all had just seen Kyoka get pinned by the rubble. Nezu, you have to shut off the 0-pointer in test area. Miss Giroux could get hurt, All Might said in the background. Right you are, Toshinori. On it, he said as he reached for the button. Wait, the blur happened again, slowed down the footage on area main road. Present MIC said. Power Loader did just that, and they saw the outline of a red Hari. That is Izuku's. All Might yelled. Izuku POV. If you want to hurt my loved ones, you'll have to face my judgment. Total concentration, sun breathing. 7th form. Beneficent radiance. I shouted out loud and leaped into the air, spiraling around, delivering a slash that surrounded the robot. Ultimately, the 0-pointer was so damaged that it merely took a stiff breeze for it to fall over after that, and the moment I landed on the ground, I rushed over to Kyoka and freed her. So, this was the end of part 2 of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.